One more thing that I wanted to sort of pick up on that's been in the news a lot lately is this idea of shadow AI and sort of
Yeah.
what it is, and should we care about it? Should we shut it down? What's the, Mike, once you pick up on that one and define it for
Yeah.
folks and
Sure.
give a point of view
So
on it.
shadow AI, right? So we all have AI in our private lives. There's no way of avoiding it. It's in everything you do online. You don't Google anymore. When you Google, you get answers coming from an AI. So now I go to work, and if work doesn't have that, if it doesn't have that capability, well, I'm just going to rely on my personal channels to get that done. So I might be doing a work search, but I'm going to go do it, on my own offline from my work channels. I'm going to I'm going to countermand some of my enterprise requirements because I just can't live without these AI tools, right? And that creates this shadow AI setup. It can be as innocent as I'm just going to Google from my phone on a device that's not attached, and maybe just by asking the right question, I'm giving away some information. Or it could be as bad as, well, I'm just going to dump this spreadsheet from work into a prompt or into a
Which I've
playground.
seen of
Exactly right.
proprietary
Yeah.
A,
IP.
Yeah.
a quick
CEOs are
example.
notorious for it.
Yeah, a quick example. This week, a client we're at, they're trying to navigate this exact topic, but in the meantime, a senior executive was dumping architectural diagrams into GPT and asking for specs coming back for. So it's happening, and in the meantime, that executive's asking the IT department to come up with standards around this whole question of local versus flagship models and how it's run. In the meantime, they're dumping architectural diagrams into GPT.
When you
Yeah.
think about why they do it, it's because we've gotten to this place where enterprise IT is not moving at the same pace as technology is advancing.
Exactly.
They're so concerned with security and what's next and the principle of least privilege and what goes out that they're not thinking about, well, people are using it already. Let's give them something with a few guardrails around it that they actually want to use. And that's
Yeah.
that's
To,
what needs to change.
to paraphrase an old story about physics, DevOps changes one funeral at a time, right? I mean, it's just the reality of it.
Mm.
So until those modern AI oriented DevOps folks start. And I'm not talking about age, and I'm not talking about experience level.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what they're willing to do. And by the way, this is not just DevOps; it's across any function out there. But until we are ready to sort of open up and let people work, like a personal story, I was working in an organization building a suite of iPhone apps. We were acquired by a larger organization that said Macintosh computers are not allowed on our network, right? And the only way to build
Yeah.
iPhone apps is on a Macintosh computer, right? So, and it was the unstoppable wall and the whatever, the unstoppable cannonball and the unbreakable wall or something like that, and so. I left that organization and they were high and dry and missed the whole iPhone wave because of that stubbornness that they had. So we've got to move forward and turn shadow IT into something that's endorsed by the enterprise, because you get the right keys and you get the right secure access for people to use it properly.
So if you were going to get really specific, you're sitting in a meeting, this comes up, what do you tell them to do tomorrow? And I think it's going to be somewhat policy driven and somewhat enablement driven, because I do think you want your team members experimenting individually and bringing ideas to the table and growing their skills. But you do need to respect the fact that, not just IT, legal, executive management is worried about, exposure. There's a number of constituencies, but what would you tell them tomorrow to think about or take action on?
Two things: technology and policy, right? It's always I was on an ANSI standard committee, and we always opened with that. The opening moment is, hey, we are here to establish technology and policy. The two work together. So the technology is, go sign up with one of the vendors. I don't care who it is. Go sign up with somebody that will give you a cloud-based access to a model so that all your employees can log in securely. They can get API keys, they can get what's called playground access, and they can get a chat prompt. So sign up and get that. That's technology. Policy is, you got to train people to only use that, and you have to train them on how to use that, right? And those two things in a matter of days can get you switched over. Personal story: my son, at grad school at University of South Carolina, he was given his GPT access as soon as GPT-5 was released. They did a deal with the university. He got his keys, he got his login, and he's up and running in that environment. No longer shadow IT, right? Embraced. Very straightforward.